Welcome, and thank you all for joining us for this special series of the Crexi Podcast, an insider's look at all things commercial real estate. I'm your host, Shanti Ryle, Director of Content at Crexi, and this is the Women of Influence series, delivering next-level insights and expertise live from GlobeSt's Women of Influence conference. And today, we are thrilled to sit down with Emily Pollard. A little bit about our guest. Emily Pollard is Senior Director of Marketing and Communications at BKM Capital Partners, a leading real estate fund manager specializing in value-add light industrial and multi-use logistics properties in the western United States. In her position, Pollard spearheads BKM's marketing, media, and communications, including tactical planning and execution of the company's advertising, PR, and multi-channel communication strategies. In addition to driving the marketing strategy for the organization, Emily leads BKM's environmental, social, and governance programs and initiatives, integrating sustainability into the firm's asset management practices and quantifying the resulting increase in value. We love it. We love numbers. Very important. Pollard brings more than 10 years of strategic marketing, communications, pipeline planning, new product development, commercialization, and brand positioning experience to her role, specifically in real estate, private equity, and alternative investments. She is a chartered alternative investment analyst, CAIA charter holder, and currently a member of CREW Orange County, the American Institute of Graphic Arts, and the American Marketing Association. Wow. Emily, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
You do so much.
It's great to be here. I think that's the role of any marketer. We wear literally a million hats.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we were just in here earlier this morning. Everyone on the Crexi team, it's mostly marketing, was steaming these step and repeats behind us. And it's the 11th hour stuff, right?
Yeah, the things that you forget about until all of a sudden it's crunch time.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
But it makes all the difference. Like,
the little things.
What would these people be without marketing? Let's be real here.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it. So I know I covered your very impressive background, but I'd love to know a little bit more how you got into, well, marketing first and then commercial real estate specifically, and just more of your career path in your own words.
Yeah, so it's actually a very windy path, which
Sure.
in speaking with a lot of the people that I've met in commercial real estate, it's something that some people are, day one, they know that's what they want to do. Where for me, I kind of just found myself sitting in a job interview at a commercial real estate firm with incredibly smart people and a really great team. And I was like, I want to work for them. And it was only once I got into it that I realized that I loved it and it's what I want to do for the rest of my career. So before that, I started out, I thought I wanted to be an architect.
Still in real estate, technically.
Yes, definitely. Still real estate focused. That didn't work out. I switched to fashion. I was not super great at CAD drawings. And then from fashion, I moved to DC, worked in the public sector for government, like NGOs and things like that, which was really interesting, but also not really what I wanted to do. So packed up my car one day when my lease was up, moved to LA with my aunt. And then I found this job with BKM and I absolutely love it.
Amazing. Yeah, it sounds like you have a really good kind of grab bag of experience that you can draw on to serve what it is that you're doing now.
Yeah, for sure. I think every little experience and every weird thing that I came across throughout my journey definitely prepared me for my current role right now. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of what marketers do is we tell stories, we talk to people. Building a high-performing team is also huge. So for me, it was all of those little experiences kind of set me up for where I am today.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm curious, what in this very, kind of winding road of a career, what are some of the most important lessons that you think have served you the most in the long run? They could be something early on or maybe even recent ones, but I'm curious kind of like what are the big driving forces in terms of how you approach your work? Yeah,
I think for me, having a strong team and building a team was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. I, for the longest time, was kind of challenged with bandwidth and, the size of our company. When I started, we were 7 people strong. Now we're nearing 100. And when you're the only person on your team, or you're a team of one, I guess, it's very hard to get things done, and it's very hard to keep moving things forward when there's only so many hours in the day. And
Absolutely.
so like getting the opportunity to truly build out, now my team's 4 people deep, it's incredible. And then putting the right people in the right seats. You know, someone could shine if they're given a different position than the one they're in. You know, they might be struggling, but if you make that switch and you tailor their position and give them the opportunities to really lean on their strengths, I think it makes a world of difference. So, you know, those were some of my early struggles, were putting people in the right places.
Sure.
And then, you know, 10 years in, I think it's definitely eye-opening to be able to, or I'm proud of the fact that I can say, oh, you know what, let's outsource that. This is your thing, you go do that, run with it.
Yeah.
And keep me in the loop. You know?
Delegating is really hard. I think especially in marketing and, like you said, in companies that are growing and maybe starting in a really small place, I feel like, you know, kind of selling the story of what a company does, it's harder to quantify how marketing really impacts revenue and company growth, right? So a lot of the times your team is kind of left with like, okay, well, you really got to like hustle to make things work and stretch your resources as best you can. And that often means like you wear all the hats, you do everything. So I'm curious, you said, you know, building the team around you and being able to manage that bandwidth was huge. How did you think about, like, how did you go from being the person who did everything to delegating and also to empowering those members of your team? Like, how did you have to think about that?
Yeah, and that's a great question. It's definitely something that I think every manager struggles with, or, you know, as you're climbing those ranks. And it's still, there's things that I wish I could do today, but it's not something that I should be doing. It's something that would be a great opportunity for my team. And I think that's my come from, is to not be selfish and to let other people learn and grow and experience something new and take on more responsibility and do more things. And then I get to share in their success and their wins.
Absolutely. And I'm curious, in terms of growing out your team, you know, how do you think about kind of like mentoring or partnering with those folks, right? Like, what process do you go about in kind of figuring out what their strengths are? Maybe like these are things they can work on, and then how do you work with them on those things?
So this will actually sound super nerdy for a marketing person, but we have a spreadsheet, a template that was handed down to me by one of my mentors, where it's really a skills analysis as well as a level of interest. So the team will go through every year, rank themselves, you know, 0 to 100 on different core competencies and different job functions. And then they'll do the same thing on another sheet, which is ranking their level of interest. Like, do I hate this? Like, I might not know how to do it, but I never want to know how to do it. Or is it something I don't know how to do, but I would love to learn? And so then we'll reconcile that and build out kind of a training plan. So if somebody wants to get certified to do drone photography, we'll find a class, we'll figure that out, we'll build it out. Yeah. We do everything in-house. And so the sky is kind of the limit when it comes to, what do you want to do? Oh, you want to learn video editing. You want to learn how to do a podcast. Let's figure out a way to do that and make it happen. And really make it customizable, because there's really like no two people are the same. So you can't really have a one size fits all training plan, but I definitely found it helpful to go with people skills plus, you know, their interests.
Absolutely. And kind of, you know, switching gears a little bit, getting into the realm of marketing in commercial real estate, it's its own thing for sure, right? I'm curious about, you know, how you approached coming up with the brand story of your company, and, you know, how you think about, you know, strategically growing that story as the company grows, as you take on more projects, as you know, try to grow internally, like with headcount. How do you think about that from a marketing perspective, particularly as it applies to the people you're trying to reach as an audience?
Yeah, so I think when I look at our brand and what our brand has done, as a company as a whole, our CEO is huge on marketing, huge on branding. So I'm super fortunate in that sense that it's not this constant battle to justify what we're doing and why it matters. He inherently understands that and is a great marketer himself. When it comes to the growing pains and our brand evolving, I think we look at it like we are constantly improving, right? So we don't want to scrap everything that we've built over time as we grow, but at the same time, we can't stay in one place, right? And a great example of that, we just rewrote our core values for the organization. So, who we were 7 years ago is not who we are today. And so as we approached our 10th anniversary, we've rebranded the entire firm, a cleaner, more modern logo.
Love that.
Yeah.
How fun.
And, we've got, technically we're two companies. We've got the capital partner side that does all of the asset management, the investment management, and then we also have our operating platform, which is our management company. And it always felt a little separate and disjointed because they're out in the field. We have 13 offices, right? And our headquarters in Newport Beach. And so we wanted to come up with something that was really like a 1 BKM kind of a message to rally people around and to really to leave a mark. So simplifying the logo, removing the company names for the most part.
Yeah, making it simple.
Yeah,
simple and memorable.
Exactly, and then really just driving home who we are and our company culture and our values. I think that was huge too.
Yeah. How do you, as as someone who is leading marketing across this whole org, which does a lot of different things, how do you think about standing out amidst other, like capital groups, more operational companies? Like, how do you differentiate BKM?
I think we're a little edgier than the others in the financial industry space, or I like to think we are. And I think consistency is key. So I've got two really great women that handle our social media and our PR, and we're always looking for something new, something different, something that says, BKM. If you drive around and you look at our buildings, right, they're all branded. Like, we brand everything down to a T. And so, you know what you're getting when you walk into a BKM space. It's bold colors, it's patterns and unexpected pops of color. And I think that's us as an organization and corporate branding. It all ties together.
I love it. You're speaking my language. I'm in brand and content, so I love this stuff. And it kind of speaks to, I think, commercial real estate is an industry not a lot of people maybe getting started in their careers would even conceive of as an option for them. And I think it's so interesting also to kind of take a step back. It's not just about brokers.
Exactly. There's so much more to it. And I think it's really important that if somebody's stepping into a role in commercial real estate, that they explore everything that there is out there, right? You could be an asset manager, property manager, a marketing manager.
Yeah.
So many
future CMO, right?
Things. There's so much you can do, and the thing I love about real estate is it's tangible. You're not just designing something or promoting something that you never see. You can touch it, you can feel it, and it's so exciting to see your vision in action, whether it's a mural or the finished final building with its pops of color and its beautiful tenant suites.
Yeah, I was gonna say, any parting words of advice? I want to be mindful of our time because we're almost at time and got a lot more conference to get to. But yeah, any parting words of advice for maybe younger people looking into commercial real estate as a potential career path for them?
Yeah, I think number one, find yourself a mentor. I don't know where I would be without there's two very important people in my life that have kind of championed me, cheerleaded me on.
Shout them out.
Yeah. So Karina Rico, thank you very much. She took a chance and hired me way back in the day with no commercial real estate experience. And to this day, she's still one of my closest friends. And I could not thank her enough for all of her advice and wisdom. Mm-hmm. And then the second, we've got a great CEO, Brian Malliott, and, you know, as important as it is to have somebody that has your back in front of your face, I think having that person who has your back behind closed doors when you're not in the room is so important. And I know I have that. Exactly.
Yeah, somebody to sponsor you. I've heard we've had Wendy Mann, who's the CEO of Crew, came on the podcast a couple years ago, and that was one of the first things she said. She's like, exactly that. You should have somebody that can teach you and kind of guide you where you should go and check in with you, but also somebody who will advocate for you.
Exactly. I think that's so important, because there are rooms that you might not be in yet at whatever point of your career.
How do you think young people can go about finding, you know, forming relationships with those people that are willing to do that? Because I think there's a lot of people who've been in the industry a long time that are absolutely willing to go to bat for newcomers, but how do you get to that place?
So I think most importantly, you just need to ask. Like when we were 7 people strong, there were a ton of meetings that I had no business being in, but I wanted to learn. I wanted to know more. And just by asking, hey, can I sit in on this? Can I help out on this project? I don't know what I'll be doing, but like, is that okay? People overarchingly will say yes. In my experience, I've never had somebody say, no, you can't help out with that. No, you can't sit in this meeting. And I think just showing that you're eager for that is definitely the first step. And then from there, you know, go into your meeting, write down all the things that you don't understand or you don't know, and then take them to the person who sent you that meeting invite and run through that list with them until you get that understanding. It'll help you build rapport with that person. And like I said, I learned so much sitting in on these meetings.
Yeah,
you know,
just being a fly on the wall even is so helpful. I love it.
Really will push your career forward faster.
Yeah, and it's advocating for yourself too. It's asking for what you want and what you need and being willing to go that extra mile to just, you know, risk rejection a little bit, because maybe they'll be like, I can't help you right now. But you're right. Most people are very kind and generous with their time and want to build those relationships.
Absolutely.
So absolutely makes sense. This has been so much fun.
I know,
Thank you so much for your time, Emily. Where can people find you if they want to get in touch? Social media, emails?
Yeah, LinkedIn's great. And I can give you my email to share out afterwards as well.
Yeah, after the podcast. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you everybody who tuned in today. If you enjoyed this episode, do not miss the next Women of Influence Series 1. Visit www.crexi.com/podcast and sign up to get the next episode delivered straight to your inbox. You can also visit our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/Crexi for video recordings of each episode. Take care and be sure to tune in next time.